This is how you get hard inquiries removed. Plain and simple. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Jazzy Mac. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. I talk about all things faith, family, and finances, and lately I've been talking a lot about credit. So make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any of my content. Now, people have been asking me, how do I get hard inquiries removed? And the truth of the matter is, it really isn't that difficult if you take the right steps. And for me, the right steps have always been writing a letter to the credit bureaus. But I wanted to address some things that some people have been confused about or have asked me questions about that pertain to freezing your credit report. Now, for me, every time that I've written a letter to the credit bureaus, I was pretty much able to get that hard inquiry removed. And if they didn't remove it, then I would escalate it to the CFPB, which is the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau. And I'll talk a little bit more about them in just a second. So it's not like an impossible process. Some things that I've been asked or been hearing are related to freezing your credit report as part of the dispute process. And by the way, guys, when it comes to writing these letters, I've made it super easy for you. I've actually put the templates down below that you can actually fill in. It's just fill and print and mail them out the door. It's super easy. That's for you, for those that don't want to, handwrite letters or anything like that. I've got printable letters that you can use down below. So if you're considering trying to get those hard inquiries removed, some people like to think that if I freeze my credit reports or if I freeze accounts, freeze other reporting agencies like LexisNexis and Sagestream, that will ultimately aid in the process. Now that may work for some people. And the reason why there are people that, do that before they send off a letter is because the big three, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, they're not the only ones that have information about your credit. There are other companies like Sagestream and LexisNexis that provide creditors with information about your credit. So for example, Sagestream is used by a lot of auto lenders, credit card issuers like Synchrony Bank, if you've ever had a Synchrony credit card. A lot of phone companies use them, retailers, and a good bit of utility companies have used them also to verify if you're a good candidate to extend credit to. So companies, when they're running your credit, they're not always just pulling from Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. They can pull from smaller companies that are also credit reporting agencies. And so sometimes if you ever get denied for something, it could be that you were denied because there was a smaller company that, ultimately didn't think that you should be extended credit, or there was some sort of derogatory inquiry that they had listed. However, again, I'll say I've personally never had to freeze anything in order to get hard inquiries removed. But if it makes you feel better, I put the information for freezing your credit report with LexisNexis and also with Sagestream. I put it down below in the description box underneath my templates. So if you just want to take that extra step, if it makes you feel better, then feel free to do it. It's not something that I personally think is required. It doesn't really alter the dispute process, but for some people, freezing their credit reports is generally done as like a precautionary method if you've experienced any type of identity theft, or if you think you're currently going through identity theft. I froze my credit report with the big three when someone stole my social. So freezing your credit report essentially just makes it's like it's locked to any company that's trying to access your social security number. So what would happen is before any credit can be extended, they would have to personally call you or get your authorization via mail that says, yes, you can check my credit. Yes, you can, run it. And that sort of thing. So that's what actually freezing it is. Freezing your credit is different from disputing those derogatory items. But for some people, again, they like to just freeze everything when they're going through the dispute process. I've never done that when I've sent in my letters. It wasn't necessary. If I sent in letters about removing hard inquiries and it didn't get removed, I would escalate it to the CFPB, which stands for the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau. And the CFPB is kind of like an advocate for consumers like you and me, that makes sure that companies don't take advantage of us and don't just do things that would be costly economically to us. So, having a damaged credit report or, having a damaged financial sort of reputation, if you will, those are things that could be economically hindering to you. And so the CFPB is kind of like that big brother that's looking over those companies' shoulders, making sure that they follow guidelines and that they're not mistreating or taking advantage of consumers like you and me. So there was a time where I sent in a letter as a result of identity theft to have an inquiry removed, and they didn't remove it, even though I sent in all of my police records and everything. And they didn't, the big three companies, the big three bureaus didn't remove it. So I filed a complaint with the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, and I filed that complaint against the bureaus, the big three, and I was able to get that removed. So a lot of people are a little intimidated about that process. I do include that process in my ultimate kit that I put down below. So there's a template that you can access, and there's also a roadmap that shows you exactly how to escalate your disputes if you're not getting the results that you want. And that is so important for you guys to utilize your consumer rights. You have rights. Don't let these companies take advantage of you and ruin your credit and just make things so much more difficult for you and your family. A lot of the times when you go apply for like a car loan or, other types of loans from certain companies will shop your credit application to many, many creditors. And if they do more than 4 creditors, after that, each inquiry counts 5 points, 3 to 5 points against your credit. So imagine if every week they shopped your credit for a month. That's 5 points every week that you would be losing from your credit score. It's 20 points in a month that you probably didn't even know that they were doing in order to try to get you approved. And a lot of the times they do it without asking your permission. They do it sometimes even if you haven't signed off on any paperwork. So it's so important to make sure that if there's an inquiry on your credit that you don't remember, you don't recognize the company, you need to be writing a letter to the bureaus and you need to be getting it removed, because even inquiries can bring down your credit. They can be the reason why you get denied for a mortgage, a credit card, and so many other things. So just to recap, if you ever see inquiries on your credit report, even if it's just 5 or 6, 2 or 3, it doesn't matter. If they don't look familiar to you, or if you feel that someone pulled your credit without your permission, the steps that you need to take to have that inquiry removed is, number 1, you need to pull your credit and identify which inquiries are on there. Then you need to, number 2, write a letter to the credit bureaus and request that they remove those inquiries. And the templates are below for that. And step number 3, if you have to escalate it, if they refuse to do it, if you prove that you were a victim of identity theft or that people weren't authorized to pull your credit, you want to escalate that to the CFPB. And I also did a roadmap that talks about step by step how to get the CFPB involved, how to submit your complaint, how to get that ultimately removed. So I hope that was helpful for you. I hope I've cleared up some of your questions. Any other credit questions that you have, feel free to ask me. I'm always happy to help you guys. Thank you so much for the support that you've offered me. Go ahead and like and subscribe and share if you haven't already. And tell me what future videos do you want to see? What things can I help you guys with? Whether it's credit, finances, career, I'm here to help. I'm happy to support you. Until the next time, see you later. Bye.